Hello friends, very good evening. So in this video I'll be sharing an explanation about what is a column chart, clustered column chart, and why is it used. So let us look at the definition. A clustered column chart is a vertical bar chart that includes a group of bars for every primary category. The cluster allows you to chart subcategories or measure data over multiple dimensions. Adding these extra components to your vertical bar visualizations allows you to draw more valuable comparisons. So now let us look at what is a clustered column chart through an actual graph. Okay, so first of all I'll insert the heading as usual. I'll go to shapes, click on rectangle, and I'm making these kind of videos in Power BI for myself, so that when I target the position of data analyst, it may be helpful. Okay, so I'll go to style and click on I may go with this option. Okay, this color, or perhaps let's say if I don't like this color, I'll change the color and go here. I think this sounds better. This looks better. Okay, now I'll enable text. Okay, and I click on text. It will be the header, explanation about clustered clustered column chart feature. Font will be Arial black, and let me increase the font size. The font color will be black. Okay, I think this looks better. Now, okay, all right. So now I'll add data. Click on this. Um, in the x-axis, we need city. In fact, I think this is actually a region. So I'll right click on this. You don't need to, go to the Excel and then change the header of that particular column and then upload the data to Power BI. You don't need to do that. You can directly rename it from here. I just discovered that myself. So I will click on region, and I'll explain why it's being renamed that way, because it contains areas like north, west, south, and east. And usually this is applicable to something called region. Okay, so I'll place region here in x-axis. Now in y-axis I need q1, then q2, q3, q4. Okay, let me click on focus mode. Now you see this is actually a very good example of a clustered column chart. So primarily what the definition states, it states here that's a vertical bar chart that includes a group of bars for every primary category. So our primary category here is west, right? West, south, east, and north. For each and every primary category, you have multiple group of vertical bars, and this cluster allows you to chart subcategories or measure data over multiple dimensions. So using this, you can do the comparisons, right? It's a group of bars. So what are the group of bars? These four bars. So earlier when we looked at stack column chart, it was like on top of another, right? You have multiple categories within one particular bar. Here we have a group of bars adjacent to each other. Okay, so now let's look at this particular graph in west, right? So in west, in quarter 1, the performance was 0.75. In quarter 2 it dipped down, and the performance came down to 0.49, and then in Q3 the performance had a little bit increase, which is increased to 0.69, and in Q4 it again increased to 0.65. Okay, now let's look at South region. So the performance in Q1 was at 0.65. It dropped down to 0.58 in Q2, quarter 2. Then in quarter 3, it again dropped down to 0.57. And then in quarter 4, it came down to 0.35. So if you can look at, Q1 comparison to for West and South, it's 0.75, whereas in South it's 0.65. And likewise, Q2 comparison of West is at 0.49, it's at 0.58. Okay, so these are the comparisons. And now let's look at the performance of East region. So in East region it will be 0.45 in Q1, and then in Q2 they did 0.78. So that indicates that in Q2 their performance is much better compared to West and South. Then in Q3 again they had 0.47, so it's lesser than the West and South regions, because in West they had 0.69 in Q3 and 0.57, whereas in East region the performance is 0.47 for third quarter, and then in last quarter 0.49. It's slightly better than South, but lesser than the West region. Lastly, let's look at for North region. The quarter 1 they did 0.23, lowest in the first quarter compared to all the other regions. As you can see, it's 0.75, 0.65, 0.45, whereas in Q1 0.23 North region. Second, in quarter 2 they did 0.63. Now whereas in quarter 2 here there's 0.49 in West region, 0.58 South region, 0.78, now it's 0.63. So compared to West and South, North region did much better in quarter 2, but the performance was lower than East region for quarter 2. In quarter 3, 0.66, whereas it's 0.69 for West. So North region was lesser than West, but better than South region, 0.57, and also better than East region. And lastly, in quarter 4 they did 0.89, the highest compared to all the other regions. So this way, you can see the performance, how and what's the trend. So that's also one of the reasons why clustered column chart is used. I hope you enjoyed this video, right? So thank you so much for watching the video.